Hello and welcome to the High School Huddle as we get set for the 2024 season. Along with Ronnie Phillips, still Nichols, I'm Chris Evans. Today we take a look at the Wagoner Bulldogs in Class 4A. But before we do that, let's hear from our title sponsor, Red River Roofing.
Nothing revitalizes your home faster than new siding. Transform your house into your dream home with Red River Roofing Siding and Windows. Call today for a free inspection.
The Wagoner Bulldogs have lost 10 games in the last 5 seasons combined. A lot of state championship appearances in there. Made it last year. Blanchard tripped them up in the finals, but Coach Dale Condit and the Bulldogs back in the High School Huddle top 5, back at the number 1 spot as we expect another big season from them.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Condit, he's always going to have them ready to go. One of the best coaches in the state of Oklahoma, you know, led by their great quarterback, coming back yet again, 3-year starter. Carbondale, I believe, is how you pronounce it. Charbonneau. I can never get that right, but 3-year starter this year, big kid, 6 foot, about 215 pounds, can throw it, run it, great leader on the field, and he's just one of many, Ronnie.
Oh, he's going to have athletes everywhere, including Anthony Coleman out there. You're going to see him all over the field. But, yeah, Wagner's poised to make another good run this year.
One of my favorite players to watch, he was fun to watch last year. One of my favorite players this year that I really look forward to watching, hopefully some games or just definitely some highlights, is Alexander Shield Knight. He's a senior defensive lineman. He's headed to the University of Oklahoma, and he's just got that high motor. He got, I think, 13 sacks last year, and he's just a nonstop athlete. He will be fun to watch. And then he's just, you know, that presence there. You mentioned Charbonneau, also a great defensive player as well in his own right there. So he had 114 tackles, 39 for loss last year. As a lot of two-way players, but you know what? If they're your best players, get them on the field.
He looks the part too. Yeah, he has a motor out there. That's for sure.
6'3", 6'4", about 245 pounds, just all man, and he's a physical kid too. You know, a lot of times in high school you don't see that physicality. A lot of times with these bigger kids, it's kind of shocking sometimes. They're not as physical as you'd think. Yeah. That's not the case with this young man. He'll put a helmet right in your chest. So, strong kid. I
think it was Ronnie who mentioned Dax Griffin. He started all 28 games over the last couple of years for Coach Condit. So, the physical presence for Charbonneau leading the way. Take a look at the Wagoner football schedule here in 2024. And we only do the regular season, or we would have the playoff layout for the Wagoner as well. But open up the season, interesting game there with Coweta, 5A Tahlequah. And then the big matchup, more than likely in district play, will be at home this year against the Cushing Tigers.
Yeah, and I think you look at this, you know, we were talking a bit about it before. I think, that Cushing game obviously in district play, but I think their toughest contest of the year could be that Coweta matchup in week 1. Of course, Cushing over the last few years, Wagoner and Cushing has went back and forth, played in a state championship game a couple seasons ago against one another after Cushing put it to them in the regular season, 40-0. But boy, I'll tell you, Wagoner is the man, so to say, in 4A. I mean, they're just consistently 1 or 2, seems like every darn year.
Wagoner also at Fort Gibson and at Grove this year. Those could be the other teams that compete for a home playoff spot in that District 4A3. So that is the schedule, and I think we're all on the same page as far as Wagoner going 10-0 this year.
Yeah, I don't think I see anybody there. I mean, of course, anything can happen. You point out those 2 games in Coweta and Cushing. You know, you never know, but I think odds are they're going to finish regular season 10-0.
Yeah, if you stay healthy, do what you're supposed to do, prepare like Coach Condit does every single week. Never looks forward. They should be able to go 10-0 this season.
Tahlequah, a 5A program, but a team that Wagoner plays every year, and Wagoner would be a very competitive 5A program as well. Yeah. So, the Wagoner Bulldogs, I think, going through, stay the mindset of week for week, week after week after week is playing well, because it's kind of tripped up in the finals.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at just 4A in general, I think with Wagoner going 10-0, but hopefully again, if you're there, you might have a little bit of adversity, because you're going to need that adversity to overcome when you get to playoffs. When you possibly see Elgin, when you can see Tuttle, when you see Blanchard. I mean, 4A is stacked.
They're loaded.
And when it gets to playoff time, I'm telling you, 4A will be the most exciting state championships there will be. I mean, playoffs and including to the state championship game. I can't wait for 4A playoff.
Well, I think, you look at last year, remember with big Whit Edwards, I think he's now at Vanderbilt, I think the big tight end, wide receiver, defensive back guy, stud, graduated last year. But, when you looked at that state championship game last year between Blanchard and Wagoner, I think most people had Wagoner penciled in there to be the state champion. I don't think a lot of people gave Blanchard a chance. And Ronnie, that speaks to what you were just saying. Mm-hmm. You just never know what's going to happen on any given day. And, man, last year's game was phenomenal. Came down that last play.
Yep.
Should be a fun season in Wagoner as they got some more OU commits on their roster once again. So be sure to check the High School Huddle every single Wednesday of the high school football season. We have a live show at 6 o'clock every night on Second Banana Media YouTube. Also on Facebook, but big presence there on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and be notified when we go live. I guarantee you we'll talk a lot of Wagoner football this year. That'll do it here on the High School Huddle.